So before we get to our presentation today, we just have a short little video that's going to give you a little insight into our subject.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. 5 seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
That was our short little video. Now I shall introduce my colleague and fellow scientist, Jonathan, to start off our presentation.
We're Team Zeus, and our solution to the problem of texting and driving is X the text. I'm Jonathan Durant, and now my colleagues will introduce themselves.
I'm scientist Johan Sellers.
I'm Joy Bakumi.
Now I see Ibukumi.
We will define the problem, explain the team process, review the impacts of the problem, and examine 2 viable solutions to the problem of texting and driving. Our team deliverables were a website, a PowerPoint, a design sketches, and a research abstract. Team logistics. We came together as a group of students and chose a problem that impacts society the most. Our problem that we chose was texting and driving. We have a leader, that is Aussie, a co-leader, that is Joyce, and described that as myself, and the timekeeper, Iman. We came up with a set of rules to govern ourselves. We'll work together. We will work collaboratively towards the solution to the problem of texting and driving. We'll stay on task and support each other. We had this timeline. It's our 10-step design process. We researched alone, then we researched together, and then we put all that research into the website and the PowerPoint. Now I'll introduce my understanding. 1.6 million people die per year. That's 25% of all car accidents. And in the U.S., that's 11 teen deaths per day.
Thank you, Jonathan. There are 3 types of distracted drivers: manual, visual, and cognitive. Our research, manual is like combing your hair while driving, visual is like playing with the radio, and cognitive is like talking with somebody in the car. Our research focuses on manual texting and driving. 20 years ago, only 14% of the population used cell phones. Today, over 102.4% use them. That's a 10,000-fold increase in cell phone usage. Would you believe me if I told you that car accidents are more likely to happen while texting and driving than they are when you drink and drive? So not only does texting and driving kill about 11 teens per day, but it's also become more dangerous than driving under the influence. Market and government intervention have tried to solve the problem by using apps like Live to Text and Canary, which block calls and texts from coming in while you're driving, but they do not work. It's also been banned in 46 states, but people still do it. On average, it takes about 4.6 seconds to respond or send a text. This means at 55 miles per hour, you would have traveled the length of a football field without looking up at the road. Here are just some more basic facts about texting and driving. You're 23 times more likely to get in a crash while texting and driving. Teens who text while drive spend 10% of their driving time out of their correct lane. And 9 out of 10 teens expect people to reply their text within 5 minutes or less. Distractions in the car cause crashes. 97% of teens say that texting and driving is wrong, but still more than half of them do it. Why? It all starts at the brain. A chemical called dopamine is released into the teenage reward center and makes it almost impossible for teenagers not to look at their phones. The chemical called dopamine is released into the reward center and causes a dopamine loop. What's a dopamine loop, you ask? Of course you ask. There's 5 steps. A ping goes off on your phone.
Hey.
Dopamine is released into the reward center.
Dopamine.
The dopamine gets you excited.
Excited.
And the excitement fuels the dopamine even more.
Dopamine.
And it keeps going again and again and again. Based on our scientific research, we concluded that we needed a scientific solution. My colleague Joyce will further explain our selection process and the 2 apps we developed.
So this is some basic brainstorming that we did to come up with our solution. We asked ourselves a couple questions, like why do teens text and drive? And my colleague Imam previously explained that. We also asked ourselves who cared about texting and driving. And we did different types of brainstorming, like visual association, word association, word storm, and mind mapping. This is the criteria we wanted our solution to follow. First of all, it had to reduce texting and driving deaths by 50%. And next, it had to focus on reducing texting and driving with education, entrepreneurship, and technology. So this is when we started to explore possibilities that we could find in our solution. So we thought maybe we could raise the driving age to 20. On the good side, we ensure that no teens are on the road, but on the downside, it would require changing the law. We also thought that we could pay teens to stop texting and driving, because teens generally like money. But on the downside, it would be a very expensive program just to pay all those teens. So this is our final decision matrix for our final solution. So as you can see, we used this chart to pick our final solution. Basically, the solution with the highest number was our best viable solution. As you can see, we picked sense-based option. Finding teens for money was a close second, but we weren't really punishing the teens because the parents have to pay the money, and the teens don't really have money on their own. This is our app number 1, which is STAT.
Stats.
It stands for Sense Activated Anti-Texting System. This is what we want it to look like. Basically, there'd be an app with an output device that you would plug into your phone. Basically, that device would have a fan inside. And when a notification goes off on your phone, the device would emit a scent that we pick. This is reduction by dumping solution. This is the plan we wanted for the app. Basically, we would pick a scent that we think that teens find appealing, and we would test them out at community centers like parks and malls. And then we have to make sure it's actually a notification that's coming on, and the scent is actually going off. So this is our second app, which is Not Now. It stands for No Text, No Text. Basically, this is a reduction by punishment system. So this is like a little map out of how it's gonna go. Basically, a user is sitting in a seat. They hear a notification, they pick up their phone, and they start texting back. Instantly, they're fined money. How this will work with that? How would this work with that? The user is basically driving in a seat, and we would know that if you're driving and texting, it's because we would use biorhythm and fingerprints. And we also use pressure sensors that were on the phone to decide if you're texting and driving. So this is our test plan. First, we have to make sure it's actually finding the user for texting and driving, not someone else in the back page for texting and driving. Also, we have to make sure it uploads properly to the database. Now, my colleague AC will talk about the website.
So we like to call our website X the Text because we want to stop texting. This is basically the layout of our website. This is our navigation bar, where you can click signs of it, the engineering, math, and just a little about us. We decided to use HTML and CSS for our website. We didn't use JavaScript, Python, or C++. Those are just other coding programs that we could use, but we decided to use CSS and HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. To start a website, you need to buy a domain. Well, we got our domain from Junior Act, so it's GoDaddy. Then you have to have a code, that's permission code. We got ours from Bing. That gives you access onto the internet. So when you open up your website, it's not like a blocked domain. You can just get onto that website. Then you need an FTP site, where you can take your HTML and your CSS code, and that compresses it together to form your website. And so this is what the final product you get after that file transfer to the FTP site. Some HTML figures are a list and unordered list. A list is like ABC, 1, 2, 3. Everything has to be in order. An unordered list, you can put in pictures, you can put in numbers, you can put in anything you'd like. Now I have my colleague Joyce will talk about CSS.
So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. CSS is a beautiful language because it beautifies your website. It really is interesting and it's really flexible, and you can use it almost anything. So basically, there are selectors in CSS that help you to style specific parts of your website. And like, for example, the body selector, you're styling and you're putting in a PX, so like the text size you want it in, and the color. CSS is used to beautify a website, as I said before, and it helps you make things prettier for HTML, and it helps you style the colors and shapes. Now my colleague Aman will talk just through a live interview of the website.
Thank you, Joyce. So this is just our website. It is inactive and it works. It has workable drop-down links. For example, if you went to math, clicked on statistics, it would take you to a website if you ever wanted to know more about texting and driving. Each of us coded a link and sent it to Asi so he could put it in our overall code to make it look like this. Now my colleague Asi will conclude this presentation.
So all in all, we learned how to problem solve, we learned how to work together, we learned how to be accountable for our actions and what we put into our presentation and our work. We just like to, when we go home today, we like to think about how we could X the text. And then we also like to thank the Junior AXO Board of Directors and Mr. Pritchard for allowing us to have this opportunity. Any questions? Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what was the greatest challenge you faced in working together or in working on this particular topic?
So one of our challenges was trying to put this website together because we had to keep going back and forth to arrange the pictures because sometimes the pictures wouldn't show up and the information wouldn't come up and the links wouldn't format as we wanted them to. As you can see, this is still a rough version of our website, but it's still an active version. Yes.
Were you surprised to learn anything new that you had learned when you were doing this? And as you were working as a team, were you guys surprised when you looked at the research? And what was it that you were surprised about?
We were surprised. Like Aman said, drinking and driving is worse than texting and driving. So we were surprised by that. We thought texting and driving is pick up your phone and then you'd be okay because it's only maybe just a few seconds you're looking at your phone and your eyes are back on the road. Yes.
Very well done. So what led you to the web-based as opposed to application?
Well, the web page took less time than it would take us to build the app. We only had enough time to build a design for the app. We didn't have enough time to make the app and the website. So we just decided to focus on the website and we present you guys the design of the app. Any more questions? All right. Thank you for your time.